Hi there, it's Karen at Simply Living for Him. I'm here to do my daily devotional and encouragement video. Just to remind you, these videos are now available on the YouTube channel and also my Simply Living for Him online women's community. And you can join that if you are not a member already at simplylivingforhim.com/community. If you are watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and let others know about the encouragement here at Simply Living for Him. Today I wanted to read from Romans 5:8, and the reason is I was thinking of this so much earlier. It's funny, I had a devotional planned for today, and then this one came to mind, so I'm going to put that one on the back burner and save that for another day. But so let me tell you where this stems from. There's a lot of, division going on online these days. There's a lot of arguing and just nastiness on the internet and honestly in real life even. People are just sort of at odds with each other. Everybody has opinions, and this virus and pandemic, I feel like, has brought out a lot of our hearts. We can see a lot of that sinfulness in our hearts. And so just thinking about that and thinking about how it's bringing out the worst of many. And, I just keep saying, and I've been saying, that we need to shine the light of Christ. We need to shine His light in this dark world. And I'll be honest with you, even myself, sometimes I look at this world even before all of this was going on, just like looking at the sinfulness of the world and the path that the world is on. And sometimes I feel like it's such a lost cause. Honestly, it's just like overwhelming. It's like, what can I do in this world? Because there's so much sin. There's so much just ickiness. There's so much stuff going on. It almost feels like a lost cause. It's like, why even bother? Why even bother trying to be a light? Because I'm never going to reach every single person. And, quite frankly, it's not my job. God is the one who changes people's hearts, but I do have a place and a role, and He wants to use us to fulfill that great commission. And He tells us to go and make disciples. And, it's not my job to say somebody is so lost that they cannot be found, because this is what I was thinking about. Romans 5:8 says, "But God demonstrates His own love toward us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." So while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. While I was living my worst life in the deepest pit, Christ died for me. And so when I get discouraged, or I want to encourage you, when you might get discouraged, if you're like me and you look at the world and you're like, it's just such a downward spiral and it's so lost, it's a lost cause. There is no person so lost that God cannot save them. And who am I to say that they're so lost? Because when I think about the girl who told me about Jesus, I've talked about her on here quite a bit. Praise the Lord that she didn't look at me as a lost cause. Praise the Lord that she wasn't like, Karen's so far gone living a sinful life. I'm not going to tell her about Jesus. She's never going to respond. Praise the Lord. She just did what she was supposed to do. She shined the light of Christ. She didn't look at me and think that I was a lost cause. And so when I look at the world, I want to do just that. I want to remember Romans 5:8, because that essentially says, at your darkest, at the pit you are living in, Jesus died for you. And for every single person out there that's in a pit, and there's a lot of ugliness right now and a lot of sinfulness. And like I said, even before this whole virus, there's just stuff going on in the world that we can look at and just get so discouraged. Who on earth do we think we are to get discouraged when we serve a God who is so great that while we were at our worst, He came in and saved us? Who am I to judge the world and say it's too much of a lost cause for me to go in there and try to do anything? My job as a Christian is to shine the light of Christ. That's it. Not to determine who's more lost or if the world is so lost. My job is to go and make disciples. My job is to shine the light of Christ. Because if He can come in while we were still sinners, he can do anything, right? Praise the Lord, the girl who introduced me to Jesus never saw me as a lost cause. So I kind of convict myself of, that now. I look at myself and say, I get those thoughts. Sometimes I'm scrolling the internet and I feel like the world is just so lost. Like there's no way, like I'm going to make a difference. The girl who came and told me about Jesus has made more of a difference than she'll ever know, because she changed me, and in turn I reach others, and the ripple effect is huge. And even it's such a beautiful picture because she doesn't even know what she did. Was it her business? It was God's business. She just allowed him to shine through her. She wasn't judging where I was living. She could have easily looked at me and been like, lost cause. I don't want to have anything to do with her. Because you know what? Quite frankly, there were people in my life back then that were like, don't want to have anything to do with you. You are too far gone. You are too lost. Praise the Lord for somebody who didn't look at me as a lost cause and just did what she was supposed to do, shine the light of Christ. So I encourage you, when you get discouraged today, looking at the world around us, just remember there's no lost cause, too lost for the Lord. But God demonstrates his own love toward us. He did it out of love. In that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. He didn't die for us because we were good enough. While we were sinners, the world is full of sin, and he died for that sin. And that is all we need to know. And we can shine that light of Christ. There is no lost cause when the light of Christ